Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the very first episode of Loot of Tomorrow, where I will be discussing the upcoming items that'll be coming out from, especially ones that I'm particularly fond of, that I plan to get, or things that I already have, considering that I'm doing this in late February and a lot of the pre-orders are coming out at the end of this month at the very latest. So without further ado, let's get on to it. First item up for grabs is Iron Factory's Phantom. Now Phantom here is their version of Mirage, of course. I've already got him pre-ordered myself. Not a bad looking little figure from the reviews I've seen. For those of you who might be fans of Mirage, this wouldn't be a bad little figure to pick up. He looks nice and he's not badly priced. Another figure I have on pre-order is Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Sphinx. He is, of course, a more masterpiece scaled version of Mirage, which, of course, that's what I'm working toward, is getting the entirety of the Ark crew, as it's called, which is, of course, the original Transformers that came to Earth in the first episodes, etc., etc. He's not too horribly priced. He might be a little pricey for those of you who don't have as much money to spend. If you do have the money though, pick him up. He's not a bad looking figure. Next from New Age, this month is coming Harry, their version of Prowl, which I'm imagining Harry is supposed to be a reference to maybe Dirty Harry. Maybe, possibly. They tend to do that, but he's not a badly priced little figure. I've heard he's not quite full Legend size. He's a little smaller than most. He's not my cup of tea, but he might be yours. You never know. Depends on if you're a fan of Prowl or not. But moving on, Toy World is coming out with Whiskey Jack. Whiskey Jack, of course, is their version of a Legend scale, it looks like. And I'm guessing by the price it's Legend scale. Their version of Wheeljack. Which he's not a bad looking little figure, I will admit. But I'm planning on getting one that's coming out a little later down the road. But if that's more in your price range, go for it. Also, another figure I've already pre-ordered for this month is X-Transbot's Boost. Boost, of course, is their version of Windcharger. I have a bit of a special connection with this one because Windcharger was my first ever Transformer toy. So you can see why this one would be a little special to me. He's a little pricey, but he is masterpiece scale. Finally, for the month of February, we have MechFan Toys Huge Dragon. I already have this one because I got it off of eBay at a slightly reduced price, but considering what I paid for it and what this one costs, it's not bad, and it's good. It's a good figure. It's a Legend scale Omega Supreme, and really, it's worth the money. I can honestly say it would be worth as much as it costs. For the month of March, ladies and gentlemen, we have Optics Hunter coming first from Iron Factory. He is their version of a Legend scale Hound, which I'm definitely going to be picking up because, you know, Legend scale and Masterpiece scale. I'm going for the entirety of the Ark crew. Most of the movie cast, Season 3, and I'm going to be really lazy about the Season 2 releases. Just because in Season 2 of Transformers there were way too many. A lot of combiners and a lot of other critters. So that's up to you. But for those of you who are interested, Magic Square is coming out with the Stunticons. The limb Stunticons so far, but you know when they're releasing these, they're not, Motormaster's not that far behind. And if they can combine, that's all the better. You guys already probably know I'm really crazy about Iron Factory and Magic Square. Not so much about DX9 and, let's see, what was the other one? It's DX9 and, Mech Fan Toys. Well, Mech Fan Toys has some good releases like Huge Dragon, but some of them seem to be a little too tall. So, we'll just see. I'm definitely planning on getting the Magic Square Stunticons though. But speaking of Magic Square, they're also coming out with a white version of Light of Freedom. Which Light of Freedom, as you already know, I've got. I think I showed it off in the last Loot Crate video, which the next Loot Crate video I'm saving for when I've got a nice big batch of loot. Because I've got a bunch of stuff in the mail, and I've already received some of my stuff, so I'm going to wait and do one big Loot Crate video. But if this is in your ballpark, it's worth picking up. I really, really like the Magic Square Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Because he is very nice. He is very nice. People bitch about the fact that his colors are a little muted, but I actually think it works. Me personally. I'm in love with it. So, anyway, next up we have another one that I've already pre-ordered. This would be X-Transbot's Arcos. He's a little pricey, I'll admit, but if you're a fan of Beachcomber, if you want a masterpiece-sized Beachcomber, he is well worth the price. Another one coming out this month, in the month of March, is X-Transbot's Neptune. He is a little more affordable than Arcos, I will say. I'm thinking about whether or not to get him, because there's another one out, I think it's Fans Toys. I'm thinking about it. There's only a slight price difference between the two. I think the Fans Toys version's $5 higher, $4 or $5 higher. But Neptune doesn't look that bad. So I'm still debating, but I've got until March to really worry about that one. So now, upcoming also in the month of April, we have Iron Factory's version of Wheeljack, which is Hex Wrench. This one's the one I was talking about before that I may get. He's a little more, about $5, $6 higher than the than Whiskey Jack, but I know he'll fit with my figures because he's an Iron Factory release. Iron Factory and Magic Square are right about in that exact ballpark. So I will probably most definitely be picking up their version of Wheeljack. Another one coming out in the month of April. This one's a little pricier because it's a masterpiece version of Blur. It's Fans Toys Jabber. $104, $105 is a little pricey, but I do have to admit, Fans Toys, aesthetically in robot mode, they look damn good. They are, as far as I'm aware, they are a bit of a nightmare to transform, but they look great on a shelf. So, you kind of have to pick and choose. If that's what you're after, is just looking great on a shelf, then Jabber is probably the bot for you. Well, anything from Fans Toys, really. I have a couple of Fans Toys bots on the way to the house. They'll be in the next Loot Crate. I'll let you guys know how bad they are to transform, because that seems a little important. Now, for the month of May, Fans Toys is also coming out with Berserk, their version of Blitzwing. I'm kind of iffy on this one, because like I said, Fans Toys Transformers are a little bit of a pain in the ass to transform. And as you can see from the picture, he's not been painted yet. That's just sort of this is what it's going to look like when it comes out. Which all the bots who are in a sort of a grayscale color, that's the pre-production model. So they haven't been painted, they haven't been fully fleshed out yet. Don't know what accessories will come with them, but I am looking forward to it. Speaking of bots that are still in pre-production mode, we have this set of 3 from Magic Square. As you can see, it's Prowl, Blue Streak, and smokescreen. Now this is probably the set I'm going to get when I was talking about the New Age Harry. This is a set of 3. It's a little pricey, but you are getting 3. So if you clip that in the thirds, they're about $25 a piece, roughly. So that's actually not a bad deal for 3. So that's probably the one I'm going to pre-order. But as you can see, I'm having to wait all the way up until May to get that. Which, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. All I've got is up until July. This isn't everything that's coming out because I'm not mentioning Siege. This is mostly stuff that I'm personally interested in and stuff that I kind of know you guys will be interested in. But let's move on to the month of June, because for all of you who are into Beast Wars, this one may tickle your fancy. Iron Factory in June will be releasing their versions of Beast Wars Optimus Primal, Optimal Optimus I should say, and Transmetal 2, I think Megatron. I wasn't really into Beast Wars, so as you can see, it's Optimus Primal in his Optimal Optimus and Megatron in his Transmetal Dragon mode. So that will be coming up from Iron Factory, and you've got time to save if you're kind of the broke nerd type. If you really, really like Beast Wars, I would say to pick these up because it's like I've said before, I'm really in love with Iron Factory. I'm in love with Magic Square too. They're kind of fighting for my affections, to be honest with you. Because also, in the month of June, we are getting from Iron Factory One Man Army. And I'm guessing he's their version of Cliff Jumper. I don't really see a face on this picture. That could just be me. But he looks pretty decent, and he's not too bad of a price. I mean, usually their bots are about $30 to $35. Usually if they're up in the $60s to $70 range, they're pretty good size. Just to give you an idea of the size of one of their bots, this is Cygnus, their version of Skyfire. I call him Skyfire. If you want to call him Jetfire, fine, but as you can see, he is a pretty decent, hefty little size. And he was about $65, $70, so you got an idea of what you're getting if you decide you want to buy those particular figures. You know, that's referring more back to Optimus Primal and Megatron. Now, here's one, if you're into cute anime girls and you like Transformers, this one might be up your alley, but this is Iron Factory Starwing. A cute and devious girl version of Starscream. So, that's up to you guys if you're really into that. And finally, for the month of July, everything else is Siege and other stuff that I just absolutely have no stinking interest in whatsoever. But this is Magic Square's Light of Justice. Light of Justice, as you can probably see, is a pre-production model of a legend size of their Light of Freedom. Now, being that I really, really like Light of Freedom, and he's a masterpiece size, and I've already seen he's pricey, but he comes with his trailer. He comes with roller, which I'm disappointed in you, DX9. You did not have a roller in with, you know, your Warren Pocket Dutch, and every time I even look at him and think about posing him, he turns into Amputee Prime because that one leg will not stay on. So I will probably be using this as my Legend Scale Optimus Prime. As far as it goes, that is all the real information I have. Like I said, that's not everything that's coming out, but that's everything that I'm interested in buying, and that's everything I figure you guys might be interested in buying. So, as far as it goes for Loot of Tomorrow, that is it. Maybe more around the time that, maybe around July, I'll have a better idea of what's coming up beyond that. So, that will be Loot of Tomorrow 2019, Part 2, Loot with a Vengeance. So, be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, Keep on the lookout for Magnus's Loot Crate and Toy Collecting for Broke Nerds. I haven't forgot it. I'm delving into territory I know absolutely nothing about, like Gundam models and Godzilla toys and things of that nature. I don't know where to find this stuff for cheap. Generally, I'm noticing SH Figuarts is decently priced. They're about like the Legends figures I'm showing on here, but for right now, I'd rather do some research and come correct than to try to, half-ass it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this loot of tomorrow and it gave you some idea what you want to save up for, if anything, or maybe you just like seeing what's coming up. If that's what tickles your fancy, there you go. Even if you don't collect them, maybe just getting a look at them is a thrill to you. I don't know. But you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. Take care.